The English Journey. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Sara who wanted to learn English. She knew it would be a long and sometimes challenging journey, but she was determined to become fluent. One day, she asked her teacher, "What is the best way to learn English?" Her teacher smiled and said, "Sara, learning English is like climbing a mountain. You need to take it step by step, and each part of the climb requires a different approach. Let me share some methods with you that can help." Step 1. Start with simple stories. The first thing Sara's teacher suggested was to begin with short and simple stories. Sara read children's books and easy English stories every day. These stories helped her understand the basic structure of sentences, new vocabulary, and simple grammar rules. The teacher advised her, read slowly, and make sure you understand the meaning of each word. Try to say the words out loud to improve your pronunciation. Sara followed this advice. At first, she struggled to understand everything, but after a few weeks, she found herself recognizing more and more words. Step 2. Listening and speaking practice. Next, the teacher told Sara to start listening to English. Listen to English songs, watch short videos, and try to repeat what you hear, she said. Sara watched her favorite cartoons in English and sang along to songs, even though she couldn't understand every word. The more she listened, the easier it became to catch the meanings of words. The teacher also encouraged her to speak. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Speak English as much as you can, whether it's with friends, family, or even by talking to yourself in front of the mirror. So, Sara practiced speaking. She would stand in front of the mirror, introduce herself, and pretend to have conversations. This built her confidence. Step 3. Writing every day. After that, the teacher introduced Sara to writing. She suggested keeping a daily journal. Write about your day, your thoughts, or even make up your own stories, the teacher said. Sara began writing a few sentences each day. At first, her sentences were simple, like "Today, I went to the park," but gradually, they became more complex as she learned new grammar and vocabulary. Step 4. Immersion in English. One of the most important pieces of advice Sara received was to surround herself with English. Change your phone's language to English, label objects in your house with English words, and try to think in English, her teacher said. Sara took this advice to heart. She labeled her desk, chair, mirror, and every other item in her room with English words. When she watched a movie or listened to the radio, she paid attention to how English was used in real-life conversations. This helped her understand English naturally, without translating everything in her head. Step 5. Read a long story. When Sara was ready for a bigger challenge, her teacher gave her a long story to read. Now that you know the basics, it's time to immerse yourself in longer English texts. This will help you improve your reading comprehension, vocabulary, and sentence structure. Sara picked up a famous English book, Robinson Crusoe. At first, she found it hard to get through a whole chapter, but she didn't give up. She read a little each day, looking up words she didn't understand and writing down new vocabulary in a notebook. As she progressed through the book, Sara noticed how much her English had improved. She could follow the story, understand the characters' feelings, and even predict what might happen next. Step 6. Practice grammar. Finally, the teacher reminded Sara to focus on grammar. Grammar is like the rules of a game, the teacher said. Once you know the rules, it's easier to play. Sara used grammar workbooks and online exercises to practice tenses, prepositions, and sentence structures. She learned how to use the present perfect, past continuous, and future simple tenses correctly. Sara's success. After months of hard work, Sara had made amazing progress. She could speak English with confidence, understand conversations, and even write stories in English. One day, she looked back at her journey and realized how far she had come. Learning English was no longer scary or difficult. Instead, it became an exciting adventure full of stories, conversations, and new experiences.